I think we're going through a strange period of history where people are understandably totally blown away by the success of physical science and the wonderful technology it's produced. And that has such a visceral effect on you. You think, oh my God, we can put someone on the moon. We can have these tiny mechanisms that, just such incredible technology. But it doesn't follow from that experiments and observation is the only way of finding out about reality. Clearly, experiments and observation are a very important, very successful way of finding out about reality, but their success does not entail that there are not other ways. And the least controversial way of finding out about reality, independently of observation and experiments, is the reality of your own feelings and experiences. If you strictly follow the kind of methodology of Daniel Dennett or my good friend Keith Frankish, and you only believe in what can be established on the basis of observation experiment, then you are led to disbelief in your own feelings and experiences, or at least you're not allowed to believe in anything known on the basis of introspection that doesn't also come from external observation, right? So Keith often says, I believe in consciousness, I believe in feelings and experiences. But when you dig into that, he totally agrees with Dennett. And Dennett says the data for a science of consciousness are what he calls heterophenomenology, which is explicitly restricted to what you can know from the outside, including reports, right? When you say something about your consciousness, but Dennett isn't taking that as testimony about an inner realm of your inner life. He's just taking the report as a physical act that we need to explain in terms of brain mechanisms or whatever. So the only things Dennett believes in and Keith believes in are what can be established from third person public observation experiment. Why? I've never, in my hours and hours and hours of talking to Keith, why can't I? Yes, of course, experiments and observation are very important, but what about my immediate awareness of my pain? Why isn't that another fundamental way of knowing about reality? So I think, someone like Keith is at least consistent. I think I'm consistent, but I think most people are in this confused middle way where they think, of course, my consciousness exists, but they don't follow through and realize in that case, there's a fundamental data point here over and above experiments and observation. So you can't just say we can only find out about reality through observation and experiments, because no, there's something else we need to plug in here. And so that's the least controversial example, but I think there are other examples like our experience of value, our experience of that human trafficking is abhorrent. We think there's something objectively bad about this. And you could say, well, that's just our subjective reaction. Well, it doesn't seem to be. Why, if it's okay, I mean, that's just like saying, my experience of the table might be a hallucination. I might be in the matrix. I might be, but it's rational to trust my experience of the table. And it seems to me similarly rational to trust my deepest moral experiences. So I think there are many different ways of knowing about reality. And the task of the philosopher, which we've kind of forgotten about in recent times, in my view, is to put them all together. It's the job of synthesis. Take what we know from science, what we know from our careful ethical thinking, what we know about mathematical reality, excuse me, the world of numbers and logic that necessary structure reality mathematicians and logicians tell us about, what we know about our own conscious experience, and synthesize it all together in a single unified theory of reality. So that, that's what I'm most passionate about, is moving us on from this scientism where we think No, it's just, you just got to, all we can really believe in is what we know from experiments, and everything else has to be squeezed into that. And if it can't be, it doesn't exist. Because that leads to this really impoverished picture of reality where really our official worldview doesn't allow for the reality of consciousness, doesn't allow for the reality of moral facts about good and bad and human dignity. And I think that's a weird, unhealthy, difficult way to live. I mean, if it was the truth, it'd be the truth and we'd have to get used to it. But once we see that there is no good reason, philosophically speaking, not to take seriously these other ways of knowing about reality, because all knowledge, including scientific knowledge, is just rooted in trusting experience, then I think we can come to a more expansive conception of the world we live in, and one that's a little bit better for our mental and spiritual well-being, I think.